get everyone checked in here. So as I call your name, if you just confirm if you have a name on the screen, that name's correct. If not, tell me your full name and then who you represent here today. Looks like Mr. Weiser is signaling to me that he cannot hear. Can you hear me at all, or is it zero sound? You want to go ahead and unmute? If you unmute, you can just tell me directly.
I can hear you just really quietly.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to check and make sure the volume on your computer is up.
It is.
Then,
It's up as high as it can go.
sure, and then so if you look at the little microphone in the bottom where the mute unmute is, there's a little caret pointing up. You can go into
Yes.
there and there's audio settings,
Ah,
and sometimes there's a volume within the app. Let me ask Kate real
yeah.
quick.
There
Kate,
is.
can you hear me any better? Or can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Sure.
I think my volume probably is, yeah, my volume's turned up pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so again, just gonna get everyone checked in right now. So we'll start with you, Mr. Weiser. Michael Weiser, and have you down here as the owner. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome. We also have Kate Meehan from the City Planning Department. Welcome, Kate.
Good morning.
And also Kevin Klunder. If you could unmute for me. Kevin, confirm that's your name. And let me know who you're
Yeah,
representing here
Kevin,
today.
yeah, Kevin Klunder with Drawing Department.
Okay, great. Welcome. We also have Ashton Tucker, who's a member of the law department, who is just going to be observing here today. From the applicant owner side, are you all expecting anyone else to join us before we get started?
No. From the
Okay.
owner side, no.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and begin. I need to read through our hearing script, which will just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll get started. So this is the April 23rd, 2025 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Excuse me. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'll be presiding over the hearing. The case before us today is case number 4139 Chambers Avenue. That's ZH20250033. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, I'll allow Mr. Weiser and Mr. Klunder to tell me about the project. Any background they think is important, what exactly it is they're trying to do, the zoning relief that they need to accomplish that project, and then of course why that you believe that zoning relief is appropriate in this case. One of you can speak, both of you can speak, however you want to orient your presentation is completely up to you. After you're finished, if there were anyone here from the public, which there is currently not, they would have an opportunity to speak after you all presented your case. I'll then hear from the planning department and allow Ms. Meehan to provide any testimony in addition to the staff report that she produced. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, as we've already seen a little bit here, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. The last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in prior to that testimony. So if you know now that you'd like to provide something, I'm going to go ahead and collectively swear all those people in together. So if you could raise your right hand, I'll need you to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right, who's going to be taking the lead here on the applicant's presentation?
I think Kevin should take the lead if that's okay with you, Kevin.
Sure.
I can give like a littlest bit of background just as a start. I think it's about 3 years ago that I buy the property from Lisa Meeks, who had bought the property from the prior owner who had owned it for, I think, a long time, a few decades. And I'm like a very small scale kind of builder developer. I really do it on the side. Professionally, I'm a psychologist, but I've probably devoted a third or half of my work life to building projects in Northside beginning the year 2000. So I was the one who did the development of Moline Court back in 2000. And then after that, I did the house that I live in now, which is 1319 Knowlton, and only 100 yards from the 4139 Chambers Street project. So I'm just a really small scale builder. Whatever I do and what I've done in Northside, I don't ask that I make much profit from it as much as I enjoy doing it. And it's really, in some ways, my contribution to the neighborhood because I can give my little projects a lot of care that a lot of the developers, because of just the way their business model works, can't. And so I'm just pecking away at this little house. The house was in such bad shape when I first bought it that it was clear that I couldn't preserve it. So I took the house down to the existing foundation. I actually collected all the old lumber that I could from the house, and I have it stacked in a pile in my backyard and covered in a tarp. And then I went ahead repairing the stone foundation walls. And then on top of that, built the house presently. And right now, all of the windows and siding, exterior siding and roofing is in place. We just got our rough plumbing inspection. And the interior framing is just about done. And pretty soon we'll start electric. And after that, the HVAC. So the project's coming along. We're probably 6 months to a year from being done. And anyway, that's background.
Okay, great. Thank you. Kevin, I see that you're trying to sign in on a different account. Is that intentional?
I didn't know if you guys wanted to, like, if you just wanted to describe it, I could share screen.
Sure.
With like just it's all the same information you guys already have. I guess I just didn't know if you wanted to share a screen or if you wanted me to share a screen.
I think it's easier if you have control of the
Okay.
cursor on the screen. So did you need to sign into the other account to do that? Or, this is just a share screen request. I'm sorry about that.
I have I'm trying to sign in as just a
Okay.
just a different, it just as me, and then I can share it.
I've never seen that before.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I don't. Do you guys mind sharing a screen just so we can kind of walk through? I don't think it's any huge.
Are you on your phone? On what we're talking on now? Is that your phone?
I was when I couldn't get audio earlier, but I
now you're on your computer.
Alleviated that. Then I was trying to join in through a different screen, but
okay.
Sure. Right. So I think
to pull up.
So the variances that we're looking for largely are come off of the matter of fact that the property is a long linear corner lot. So Michael is proposing to build an accessory structure in the rear of 4139, which would allow for essentially some garden equipment as well as some woodworking equipment that Michael has on the side, or uses for his development business. So we'd like to put the accessory structure in the rear yard of 4139. However, 4139 is a long linear corner lot, and as such, accessory building setbacks in a corner lot are related to adjacent parcels and existing buildings that may sit upon those. Directly adjacent to 4139 is an existing property that has a garage that sits very far back from the property line. So having that building be part of the math that determines our setbacks basically means we can't have a accessory structure on this property. So we're looking for a variance for that. Additionally, there's a request for a variance for a 6-foot high privacy fence along the street side. This is not an uncommon feature of the neighborhood and is being sought just to have some extra usable space in the backyard there, as well as to provide some privacy and visual screening from some of the adjacent properties, both inward and outward. And additionally, there's a little bit of a sort of a security question with some of the adjacent properties having just a lot of activity after hours and between hours and things like that. So, so those are our two requests for our request for two variances here based on the accessory structure setbacks and the privacy fence setback.
Got it. Okay. Could you tell me more about the size of the accessory structure and the fence? What's the square footage and height of the accessory structure? And it looks like the fence is proposed to be 6 feet and 100% opaque. Is that right?
That's correct. Let's see. The accessory structure is 16 foot by 20 feet on the interior. So it's about, I think that makes it about 300 square feet. The height is shown at an average height of about 14 feet. I'm sorry, about 12 feet average on the sloped roof there, where 15 is allowed. You know, the 6-foot high privacy fence is necessary and not uncommon in the neighborhood there. I think that in terms of just, you know, we have like some security concerns. I don't know if our letter explains a little bit about some of the free bench activities at the adjacent property and the desire for a little bit of enhanced security. The free bench is a sort of community outreach feature where people can drop off things that they no longer personally need, and people in need can come and pick up things that they might need that might be there. That brings with it a good amount of sort of people coming after hours or sort of odd hours, and maybe people maybe there's a little bit more foot traffic than in a normal neighborhood. So I think that the 6-foot privacy fence gives definitely more security, more privacy to the proposed project in the backyard there. And again, it's also a common feature in a lot of the corner properties in the North Side neighborhood at this time. So I think we're hoping that we can have something in accord with something that's pretty common there.
Okay. And I know it's a corner lot, so the, rear yard, the official rear yard determinations and locations can be a little wonky, but it looked like on that site plan that it was going to extend until about halfway up the house. Is that right?
The privacy fence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. It comes probably about, it leaves about 2/3 of the proposed or the existing house exposed without privacy fence on it, and starts with a gate kind of near the existing front door of the existing 1-story house there.
Got it. Okay. And is the fence so then I guess the accessory structure will serve as the barrier to the property to the west, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, the house or the accessory structure itself would be the privacy and security feature on the facing the, gosh, I guess it's turned upside down, so I'm having a hard time. I guess that's the east and south property lines, but our site plan shows it upside down. But yeah, so on the other two property lines, that would be the extent of the privacy security.
Got it. Okay. And as part of the security, is the plan to do work or store materials in the rear yard for the business? Is that part of the security concern, or is it just gaining access to the property in general?
Yeah, no, it's, you can hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah. So no, it's really, behind the privacy fence is a deck that comes out the kitchen of the back of the house. And that little backyard is really just for recreation and gardening. And yeah, that's really what it's for. And the privacy fence is just to make it feel like a more protected living space.
Okay. What is the length of the privacy fence? Do we have those numbers?
I think on the diagram it shows that it's about 46 feet long.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions right now. Anything else you want to tell me about the project before Ms. Meehan weighs in?
I have something to say. You know, Kevin, I'm sorry that I didn't think to say this before, but you know, the accessory structure is set at 3 feet from the property line that separates my property from the adjacent property to the west. And I was thinking that 3 feet, I would have more of the fencing that would serve as a buffer. And even though it doesn't show on the drawing, the fencing, again, is sort of starts along the west side, 3 feet, like along the property boundary, and then just fills in that 3 feet to the west of the accessory structure.
Okay. Okay, so you would carry the privacy fence to the farthest edge of the property, like instead of leaving that 3 feet to the other.
Yes, yeah, I think so. And then I would really mostly use that 3 feet just so I could care for the facade of the accessory structure.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. To be clear, are you suggesting a redesign of the site plan right now and the proposal?
I guess it would be, yeah, I guess it would be an expansion of what we're talking about here. But I also, if that might require that we start the whole hearing or process over again, we might rethink that.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen.
Be based on what we've submitted so far.
Yes.
Okay. Let me have Kate weigh in here. Kate, you want to start with the proposed modification and how the planning department would handle that?
So I think for a 6-foot tall fence would be permitted there because it is in the rear yard and it is because it's behind the house. That is, it starts behind the wall of the house and it's would be up against the interior side yard. A 6-foot fence would be permitted there by right. They would not need any special relief to do a 6-foot fence in that 3-foot section between the accessory building and the adjacent property because it's in an interior corner yard and it would be compliant there.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Hey, is there a microphone on your headphones?
Sorry. Yeah, it was up. Yes. But yeah, so it would be, I mean, I guess we would just do like a certificate of compliance for that small section, but it would be permitted at that location.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, do you want to talk about the proposal in front of us?
Sure. So this case is kind of, I think a good example of why we need variances, because it is an unusual situation in that the house is on the corner lot, but then the adjacent property is I think it's run by a nonprofit, and there are several buildings on this piece of property, and it is not it's not consolidated. So there are 6 different parcels that make up this property. So we look at the adjacent parcel, and on the adjacent parcel is this garage that sits back, I think, like 88 feet from the front property line. So that is, per the code, that is what we use for determining what a setback would be for the accessory building at the corner. The code does allow, that you don't have to exceed 40 feet. But in this case, if it's only, they need relief for like they need a 38-foot variance basically because the property, according to the code, an accessory building at the corner here would be set back 40 feet because of that adjacent garage that sits back more than 80 feet. These are 25-foot wide lots, so there would be no way to do an accessory building on this piece of property if the code were strictly enforced. So it just would not be permitted here. Um,
Got
so
it.
clearly this
So,
is an unusual situation. I know there is that shed at the front that Kevin referenced where they have this free bench. I did look in the permit history. There is no permit or anything for this structure. So we did not use that for to determine what the setback would be. There's no permit history at all for this little shed that sits up in the front. So the garage was used. The garage has been there since at least 1996. So that was used for, because it's on the adjacent parcel, and that was used as the primary structure that we took the average from,
got it.
or
So
took the
to be
setback from.
clear, we're referring to this structure here, right?
Correct.
Okay, and the sort of non-conformity with the proposal to locate the accessory structure around here is based on the fact that this just exists or the proximity to this garage.
Right, is the fact that that is the closest adjacent property to this corner lot.
Got it. So
So
does
we,
it needs to match the setback of that
right, so
garage?
it would
Okay,
need to match, or it would need to be at 40 feet per the code. But the other, and again, there are several buildings on these scattered across these 6 parcels, and you can see there's a house that sits close to the front. There's also a former store, or I think it's now a bicycle co-op, that also basically sit at the lot line. But those are on separate parcels, so we cannot use those to determine the setback because they are not
got it.
on an adjacent parcel.
Got it.
The garage that sits way back is on the
Yeah,
adjacent parcel.
I gotcha. So what if you
So,
were using this house instead of the garage? Would it be permitted by right, this accessory
right,
structure?
then it would not need relief because it would essentially match what the adjacent, property on the side street is. But in this, the code says you look at the property that is on the adjacent parcel, and this is not one large consolidated parcel. It's 6 separate parcels, and the garage is the closest. And it is also the proper, the building that sits back the farthest. So that is what we use
Okay,
per the code.
I understand. Okay. What about the fence? Were there any findings related to the fence?
So I did, and the applicants did a good job on providing additional information about the fences, and they provided locations of where there were other examples of properties in Northside that have 6-foot corner fences. Um, And I, did just verify on like Street View. But yes, there are many properties in Northside, also on kind of narrow corner lots like this, that do have a 6-foot tall fence. So it is a condition that is existing in the neighborhood.
Okay. And so you're recommending approval on both items then,
Correct.
both pieces of relief? Okay. All right, thanks, Kate. Appreciate that.
Sure.
All right, I'll toss it back over to Mr. Weiser and Mr. Klunder. Anything you want to say in response to Kate's comments or anything else? In closing or otherwise?
No, I think it was all very clear to me, and I appreciate Kate's comments.
No, I think we covered it. I mean, I think, excuse me. I think we're good.
Okay. All right, I think we'll leave it at that then. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. I live in this neighborhood, so I'm very familiar with the surrounding properties and the fence heights, and sort of watch this building go up. So I think based on all of that and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree with Kate that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this project. So I am going to approve it. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that to you as quickly as possible. As soon as I finish the decision, I put it into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody in the hearing here today. So y'all will have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. Kate will be on that email as well. And when she sees it, she'll be able to approve the zoning permitting on her end. You all can take the next steps. Any questions about that?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good luck with the project, and hope you all have a wonderful day. We're adjourned.
Thanks very
Great.
much.
Thank